2 videos ago, we taught a stack of documents to search by meaning. Last video, the AI read what it found and returned it in one sentence together with the source. And then I told you not to use it on anything real, because everything you asked together with a piece of your document went over the internet to someone else's computer. Fine for public regulation like the GDPR, and not so fine for your supplier contracts, right? Today we fix that. And I want to kill a myth along the way. Running your local own AI is not a developer thing. No terminal, no graphics card that costs you more than your car. One free app, one download, and only a few swapped nodes. And at the end, I'll show you the receipts on screen. The request landing on my own machine and an API key so fake any real AI provider would have thrown it out immediately. So which part of this thing was actually calling home? 2 parts, and they are the 2 AIs that we separated last week. The librarian that turns every piece of content into a fingerprint of its meaning so it can be filed. And the explainer that basically reads every winning passage and writes you the answer. Both of them were cloud models, as you can see here. Today, both come home to our local machine. Same document, same question, the same short sourced answer. Just that nothing is leaving this computer. We'll start with the librarian because it's almost embarrassingly easy. Quick detour because a few of you asked for more than one way to do this. The PDF parser is unchanged. It reads the file in. Then we have a document data extractor node. So what KNIME hands you after parsing the PDF is basically a package. The author, the file name, the content itself, all in one object. And this node simply pulls the text content and writes it out as plain text we can work with. And then, instead of last week's sentence extractor, we use the text chunker node. Same job. A big document has to be cut into bytes before an AI can actually file and fingerprint it. But instead of cutting at every full stop, this cuts it into chunks of roughly a paragraph. This is an alternative, not an upgrade. Bigger bytes carry more context. Smaller bytes are more precise. Chunk size is a bit of a dial. And it's the first thing I probably would change if the answers start to come in feeling a bit vague. Now the librarian. So last week, this has been basically an OpenAI model sitting behind an API key. Today it's a single node, the GPT4All Embedding Model Selector. It comes with the KNIME AI extension, which if you followed the videos 1 and 2, you already should have. And it runs the fingerprinting model on your own processor. No key, no account, no authenticator standing in front of it. I let it pick and download a model for me. So let me just quickly open up its configuration. So we just set this to model. That's basically all we do here. The first run takes a moment because it pulls down that model off the internet, downloads it to your computer. And to be clear about which direction things are traveling here, we are downloading a model to your machine and only once. We are not sending your document out. After that download, this node never needs the internet again. Straight into the same vector store as before. Every chunk of that regulation now gets its meaning fingerprint calculated right here on this machine. So half the pipeline runs already on your own machine by now. And we even have not installed one single thing today. The explainer is the next and the bigger thing. And for that we install one free app. It's called LM Studio and you currently can see it on the screen. Think of it as two things in one. It's an app store for AI models. You search, you download, you keep them. And it's also at the same time the engine that runs them. So you see here, lmstudio.ai. Here you can basically download it and install it. And the model that I'm using here is called Meta Llama 3.1, the 8 billion instruct version. But you don't have to remember this out of sheer memory. It is the exact name on the screen and in the description. Copy it and then just paste it here into the search and you find it here. So it is the one with the 274,000 downloads as per the time of this recording. So you see it is a few gigabytes large. That means give it a few minutes the first time and then it's on your machine for good. It runs on an ordinary work laptop. Now here's the part that makes everything else click. LM Studio doesn't just hold the model, it also starts a tiny server, as you can see here at the bottom, on your own computer. That server speaks exactly the same language OpenAI's servers speak. Same requests, same answers, same dialect, so to say. So as far as KNIME is concerned, there is now an OpenAI sitting on your machine. And that is the whole trick of this video. And it's why the next 3 settings are going to look completely wrong. Let's switch back to KNIME. First of all, setting 1, the credentials. The OpenAI Authenticator flat out refuses to run without an API key. So we give it one and it's fake. I just typed 1234 here and LM Studio is running on your own machine. So it isn't checking anybody's key actually. The node just wants the box filled in. Setting 2, and this is the actual switch. We go into the OpenAI Authenticator node and here we going to open the advanced settings. And what you basically see here is the base URL. And instead of OpenAI's address out on the internet or Open Router, as we have used before in the prior videos, we pointed at http:///127.0.0.1:1234/V1. In plain English, that reads at this computer door 1234. 127.0.0.1 always means your own machine. 1234 is the door LM Studio is listening at. And V1 just says which version of the language we're speaking. And look closely, it's HTTP, not HTTPS. That S is the encryption for data processing over the internet. And nothing here crosses anything. Nothing over the internet. It all lives on your local machine. It's the same computer talking to itself. Type HTTPS and it simply will not connect. If you remember one thing from this video, remember that one, because that is the thing that's going to break it for you if you don't care. Setting 3, the OpenAI LLM selector. It still says GPT-3.5 Turbo. We just leave it. The label is a leftover, so to say. So these nodes speak the OpenAI dialect, as we have said before. They don't speak to OpenAI. LM Studio hears the request and answers with whatever model it has loaded, which in our case is Llama, the one we downloaded just a few minutes ago. The name in that box is not the model that answers you, to be honest. Everything else downstream is untouched from the videos before. And the question is still sitting in the table creator. How long do I have to report a data breach. The retriever pulls back the closest passages, and I widened basically here from 3 to 5. So the local model gets a bit more to work with. So let's just run this, ungroup and group, put them together as one block of text. The expression node glues it up with the same house rules as last week, which are answer from this source only, one sentence, name your source. And the LLM prompter hands the whole package over. We see it already run. We can already see a little bit of a preview here. So watch this. It is actually slower than it was in the cloud. And that right here was your laptop thinking, if you observed that. And there it is. So you have up to 72 hours after becoming aware of a personal data breach to notify the supervisory authority. So we asked it for one sentence, and the local model won't always give you exactly one. Sometimes it's a line or two, but it stays short and it stays sourced. Same question, same shape of answer as last week, except this time nothing left the room. And by the way, if this was the video you have been waiting for, that would be actually a great moment to subscribe. It's the reason I built the first 2 videos, and it greatly helps the channel and me to, in the future, produce similar videos on a weekly basis. But don't just take my word for it. Let me show you the receipts twice. First, this is LM Studio's own log, and you basically can see it's running on this machine. Every time I hit run, the request basically shows up down here in this developer log. And don't be scared by the term developer. That is where your question went, not out to a provider. It went basically here into this thing running on your own computer. Second, and this is my favorite, remember the API key we typed? 1, 2, 3, 4. If any part of this were still going out to OpenAI, that key would have been thrown out in the 10th of a second. And that node here, the OpenAI authenticator, would have been dark red. But it's green. It answered, which means nobody out there was ever asked. By the way, don't confuse the 1, 2, 3, 4 we used as a password with that door that LM Studio is listening. You could also use a different password like 4321 or whatever. But again, coming back to the local scope, nobody out there was asked, and your document, your question, your answer, all of it on your own machine. Now, let me be straight about what that costs you, because I'm not trying to sell you here anything. It's slower. You just watch that when we executed the workflow. Let me just reset this here, and you can basically also see this. So if we run this again, you'll see how long it takes. An 8 billion model is smaller than what the big providers like Anthropic or OpenAI run. So the wording comes out plainer, and you'll want to actually check that source line rather than trust it blindly, which, to be fair, you should have been doing anyway. And it leans on your hardware. More memory, bigger models, better answers. What you get in exchange: no per question bill, no rate limit, no terms of service, and no awkward conversation about whether legal and compliance is okay with this or not. For anything confidential, that trade isn't close. So that's the series. Video 1. It found the passage by meaning. Video 2, it summarized the source and showed the source to you. And today, video 3, the whole thing running on your local machine, nothing sent to anyone. Find it, answer it, lock it down. The workflow is on the KNIME Hub. The link is in the description to the video below. Download it, swap the PDF for one of your own documents, and you've got a private document assistant tonight. The exact model name to search for in LM Studio is down there too. And if you build it, tell me in the comments down below which document you pointed it at. That tells me what eventually we want to work on next.